Today I'm going to show you a walk I took through RSPB's Loch Leven Nature Reserve, and I was trying to spot some squirrels as part of Saving Scotland's Red Squirrels Great Scottish Squirrel Survey. So we'll see if I had any luck. So this is me on the other side of the road from the loch now, and this is a promising sign. So I've seen some brambles. Brambles are actually really good in squirrel habitat. Red squirrels have quite a varied diet, and they will eat fruit and they will feed on brambles. But it looks like these ones aren't quite ripe yet. So now I'm at the start of the Leafy Loop walk, and I have been told that this route is a really good walk for spotting red squirrels. So hopefully I will have some luck today and spot one. And we've got a hide coming up on the right here. Now, I did scare a few birds away as I walked past here, but if that happens, don't worry, they will come back. There's feeders with plenty of food, so they should come back in, and perhaps a red squirrel will drop by too. So I'm going to go in here and be very quiet for a few minutes and see if I can spot anything. So there were plenty of birds that turned up. Just after a few minutes, they all came back in. A few great tits and chaffinches and other things, but no red squirrels yet. Okay, we're going to leave the hide now and carry on. No red squirrels, I'm afraid. But I did notice this bug hotel around here, so we'll have a look at that. Interesting fact about bugs and squirrels. Squirrels will eat insects during the summer months as a bit of a protein boost. Just carrying on now, and I spotted this fungus. Red squirrels will eat fungi. It looks like this one has been eaten by something else though, perhaps a slug or a snail. But what red squirrels will do is they'll actually pick the mushrooms and they'll lay them out to dry. And once they're dried out, they'll gather them up and put them in a larder to eat later. So very varied diet. Here we have a feeder box, which would be quite inviting to a red squirrel. It's got some food in it, but I haven't seen any around yet. There's nobody in the tree, so I think we'll carry on. So an important thing to remember if you have a feeder box or any sort of bird feeders too, is to keep them clean. And we recommend that you clean them regularly with something called Virkon, and that prevents the spread of squirrel pox. So Virkon is spelt V-I-R-K-O-N. And please make sure that you follow the manufacturer's safety instructions, as it is an irritant to skin. So you'll need to wear gloves. Okay, I think we're coming up shortly on the halfway mark. Now this time of year there is plenty of food around for red squirrels, so you might be less likely to see them at feeders, but you might still be able to spot them, so keep a lookout, keep looking up in the trees. Look for any signs of movement. I've just spotted here a red squirrel sign, so maybe this is a good spot. And another sign, the life of a squirrel. Squirrels can spend up to 60% of their time snoozing. What a chilled out life. That does sound like a chilled out life. So hopefully they're not snoozing today, and I do see one. So I'm just going to stand here for a minute and just scan the trees. for any movement. I did just hear something. I did hear movement. I think it was in this tree. I think there's something there. I'm sure something jumped. Just need to find out where it went. I'm pretty sure that was a squirrel. I'll see if I can find it for you so we can hopefully get some footage of it. Oh, there, did you see? Something just ran up that tree there, up the birch tree in the distance. Okay, I think what I'm going to try and do is get a little bit closer and see if I can get this squirrel on camera, because that was definitely a squirrel. Now, if you're looking for squirrels and you see some movement and it turns out to just be a pigeon or something like that, don't be too disappointed, because really that's a good thing that you have noticed something out the corner of your eye. It means you're already doing well at spotting wildlife. And of course, it's really important to stay as quiet as you can. So at this point, I am getting close, and we should be able to see this squirrel in just a second. There it is. I'll just try and focus on that a little bit better. Okay, can you see the squirrel? That is a red squirrel in the top of that tree. I'm so happy that I managed to spot one. They're quite elusive creatures. And they haven't got their ear tufts yet. Oh, that's a slightly better view. Well, they only have ear tufts in spring, winter, and autumn. But this one's a really lovely, rich red colour, a nice dark tail. There's quite a lot of colour variation in red squirrels, actually. Some are more red, some are more brown, some even look a little bit grey, which is confusing. But soon this one should be getting its ear tufts. So you know it's definitely a red squirrel if you see ear tufts. Oh, there they go. How brilliant at moving through the trees. Trying to get some more footage for you now. There we go, running down the tree. Looks like they got a bit stuck. There at the bottom of the tree. Red squirrels can actually turn their hind feet 180 degrees backwards to go straight down a tree like that. Oh, off they go. Very, very quick. Well, that was great. So happy that I did manage to see one, but we'll carry on. We'll see if we can spot any others, but I'm just happy that I saw one, to be honest, because they're so tricky to spot, especially at this time of year, when they're not necessarily coming to feed us. But looking around, we've got quite a few hazel trees here, which they do feed on. You can tell it's a hazel because it's got this round leaf shape that comes to a bit of a point. And somewhere there's a dead giveaway. Yep, they've got hazelnuts. They're still not quite ripe yet, they're still green, but this will be a great food source for the red squirrels. Okay, so we're carrying on the leafy loop walk. I've got an oak tree here, And you can tell it's an oak, of course, because they've got that characteristic oak leaf shape to the leaves. But also, if they don't have their leaves, or if it's winter, you can look at the buds. I'll just try and focus this a bit better. There we go, put my hand under. And you can see at the end of each twig, they have a cluster of small brown buds. And that's another way to tell that it's an oak, whether it's got leaves or not. And someone's been building dens here. Red squirrels can have dens as well. They'll make a nest in the hole of a tree. But a squirrel nest is actually called a dray. Okay, we're coming back to the Bug Hotel and the hide now. So that is the Leafy Loop walk. And I think now I'm about to head on to the woodland walk. And we'll see if there's any red squirrels hanging about up there. So just before we head off on the woodland walk, just wanted to show you a rowan tree. They get mixed up with ash trees, very similar leaves, but rowans have smaller leaves, smaller leaflets, and they also have, of course, the red rowan berries, so you definitely know that's a rowan. And then I saw a larch here that I wanted to show you, with some cones on it, that I'll show you in a second. But red squirrels are quite fond of larch trees, so that's quite good habitat for reds. Just going around to show you the cones now. That's another way to help you identify what they are. Quite small cones, larch. And here we have a Scots pine. You can tell because of that sort of reddish bark going up to the top. That's also a good tree for red squirrels. And just on this section of the path, you can see that we've got a lot of wood rush. Interesting facts, not relating to squirrels, but golden eagles. It's said that they actually use this plant to line their nests. And here we've got a mossy stump, which squirrels will often find a mossy stump, especially in a sunny spot, and they'll use that to perch on to eat their food. I just want to say a big thank you now as I'm leaving the reserve to the RSPB team at Loch Leven for allowing me to come and walk around and film a few clips, which hopefully you've enjoyed watching with me. And I'm so glad that I got to see a red squirrel and get some footage of it to show you. So strongly recommend visiting this site because you do have a good chance of spotting some red squirrels. And don't forget that if you do spot a squirrel, whether it's red or grey, please make sure to submit your sighting at scottishsquirrels.org.uk,